Grit, grind, and hustle. Is it needed? Do we even want to go after it? It's all the rage right now, seems to be on social media. Why would we want this? Is it attractive? I want to share my thoughts. I've been thinking about this for a while now. I've gone after it in my own life. And we broke it down in the Thumos School for Men, our community. We spent a week on it where we collectively shared our tools, tactics, thoughts, and wisdom around this very topic. Here's my thought. It's needed. We want it. It's a good thing. It's just not yet complete. There's more and there's better. I'll explain. When I was a kid, I was probably 6, 7, or 8. I remember, by the way, I was a small kid. Skinny, weak, had a little bit of asthma. I remember seeing a bodybuilder. Man, this dude had huge arms, thick chest, wide back, small waist. I was infatuated. I was hooked. I was obsessed. I spent the next 3 decades going after muscle, on the chase to lose body fat, to be healthy as well on top of that ultimately. I spent thousands of hours perhaps in the gym, hundreds if not thousands of dollars on supplements and vitamins and of course food. I was all in. But the deal is I had limited genetics. I still do. And I ended up putting on probably 40 pounds post-high school. Took the next, say, 2 years, put on about 40 good pounds. Ended up about 180. Not big at all by today's standards. I'm only 5'9". But in that, I got really strong. For example, I was pressing 145-pound dumbbells on flat dumbbell press. 140s consistently for like 2 decades, up until 12 months ago, when I hurt my neck from herniated discs, not from pressing or even lifting weights, from boxing of all things. I was doing one-arm push-ups, one arm, with a kid on my back. I was doing dips with 4 plates consistently. My heaviest was 4 plates and a quarter, all wrapped around, strapped from my waist doing these dips at a body weight of 180 pounds. I'm pretty proud of that. None of that came easy. That all came from thousands of reps, grinding and striving and working, action. I didn't just sit home and think and meditate and manifest. I went to work and it worked. That taught me, I developed in all of that grit from that grind. I also got a hell of a lot of resilience. That's working out. Where I am today, I'm still strong on certain lifts especially. I've got a neck that's probably going to get cut on after I don't know how much natural treatment that I've tried. It's been almost a year now. And I will probably come back. But guess what? I'll probably come back just as strong. But it's going to be from a place of a get to do instead of a got to do. At 53 years of age, I no longer need to be seen. I no longer need to look in that mirror and for whatever reason, I didn't feel worthy. I felt like it was never good enough. It's just what it was. If I had some veins, I wanted more veins. If I had some size, I wanted more size. If I had some size, I wanted to be lean. And if I was lean, I was too small. I wanted to be bigger. And some of you can relate because it's the bug that we're bitten with if we're in the gym like that. It just is what it is. But I never had the genetics, or I was not willing to do the drugs that it took to be at a certain level. And that's okay. A lot of people do, and good for them. I hope they can do it safely, but good for them. In all of that, I wouldn't trade it for the world. The grind, the grit, the lessons, the teaching, the knowledge, the ability now to help other people. That's just the F of fitness and health and working out and muscle. I've developed the same thing, the same grit when it comes to marriage. My first wife, that whole marriage crashed and burned. She had issues, so did I. She ended up dead. That was a very hard thing for me to go through at 28-ish years of age. Wouldn't wish that on anybody. Left me financially almost in ruins. Fast forward a decade later, I've got a great wife. I now have kids. We have a dream marriage. I think about the finances that from where I was and where I am now, it's just like, holy cow, I can't believe where I was and where I ended up. But I got to where I needed to get to. Fitness, family, the F of family, and the relationship with my wife now and my family now. Finances, that F, all from a whole lot of grit, action, resilience. I've had a whole lot of messes that are now sort of my message in order to help other people. I believe I have credibility because I've been to it and through it. I'm now on the other side. Think about that, my friends. If you've been divorced and you now have a great marriage, you've got a mess that is a message to help somebody else. You are competent and qualified. This might even be your mission in life, to help others. If you were once skinny or fat and now you're in shape, you're healthy, that mess, that struggle, that challenge equips you, gives you the competency and hopefully the courage. You've got a story that's believable. It's real life. It can't be debated. It's your experience to go help people. But what qualifies you and I to help people is the mess that we went through. That's grit. That's grind. That's messy. But that built our resilience. That built our character. I get to talk to a whole lot of men and women, but for School of Men, we have a couple of Zoom calls twice a week, and we dissect topics like this because we want to show up better. We are showing up better for ourselves, our communities, our corporations, our businesses, our families especially. We dissect things like this: grit, resilience, grind. What is it? How are we doing? How are we showing up for our kids? How are we teaching this to our kids? Here's one of the things that really sticks out to me. Those men in Thumos who have kids that are older than mine, none of them are saying, I wish I'd have given my kids more stuff and more comfort. Not one. I think we're all wired to do that. We just want to, look, it's like we love our kids so much that we give them everything. Or at least if we're asleep, we do. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It just is what it is. We love our kids. But the men I talk to say, Jody, I did not teach my kids resilience. I did not help them obtain grit. I just didn't. And now, Jody, whether they're in their 20s or 30s, they don't have the fight in them that they need because it's hard out there. They can easily go to apathy. What's the use? Why try? I'm just going to lose. Where's the grit? Where is the work ethic? Where is all that stuff that we acquired through hardship and struggle and strife and challenge? I wouldn't trade that shit, I don't think, for anything. Yes, it was hard, but it helped me develop character. And that helps me have credibility and competence to help, love, support other people in my mission in life. So grit and grind in the hustle culture. I hear about it a lot with the OGs and the businessmen. I like the message. I really do, especially for our young boys, our girls, our boys and girls. I think they need it. I really do. I just don't think it's yet complete. I think there's a next level. I talk a lot about level 1, level 2, and level 3 men and women. I think it's a level 1 and 2 attribute. Whereas level 3, what I want to see is people go do the grind. Go put in the thousands of reps. Go do the action. And honestly, it really doesn't matter if the action is working out. You can do so from a place of anger. You can do so from a place of hate or sadness or not being worthy. I don't want you to, because I know it can leave in its wake. It can harm a whole lot of people in relationships, and often does. But that can be done, and you can still acquire the muscle or the money. It just works because it's the right action. It's the right tension and the stress to develop the muscle or the bank account, the money, bigger. But I think there's a better way. Enter the 303 man. This is the guy who is now working out, and it's not a got to do, it's a get to do. This is a guy who's running a business, but it's ran instead of a place of grind and opportunism or selfishness or win-lose. I think it's more of a business baked in principles and values, love, light, strength, mutual winning. I think there's a better way. When I go work out now, I'm not as strong as I used to be with this neck injury, but it'll come back, God willing. But how am I going to enter the gym now? Am I going to the gym a got to do or a get to do? I think it's going to be the get to do. Am I going to the gym because I'm not good enough? Not anymore. I'm plenty. I'm made in the image of God. Let's roll. So I like the hustle, the grind, the grit, the resilience. I just don't think it's complete. I want people to get so clear on their purpose and their path in life that they just almost effortlessly unlock that potential that they're designed to be doing. I want men and women to uncover their God-given gift and serve others so powerfully that they're just in a state of awe almost all the time. I believe when enough men and women get so clear on their purpose to help, serve, support other people, and they do that long enough and good enough, hopefully from an energy above the line, aka from a place of love, joy, peace, the get to do and the got to instead of the got to do, from a place of power and strength instead of push and force, a pull instead of a push. I believe when men and women can do that long enough and well enough, they can develop what I call mastery. You ever seen a mastery at work? A master at work? It's a beautiful thing. When enough action is done from a place of mastery, I believe one can even enter what I call flow state. What is flow state? Who can describe it? It's hard to put it in words. It's an experience. All I can say is I believe it's outside of head. Head being there's no fear from flow state. There's no care of judgment from anybody. It doesn't matter. They're not even around. Flow state perhaps is somewhere between heart and soul. Time stands still. It's effortless, but it's beautiful. It's like a symphony that's being played, foreground and background. It's a beautiful thing, flow state. So my friends, if you're out there and you're going through hard times, you're going through tension or strife, by choice or not, this neck issue, this is not my choice, but it's my path, and perhaps somehow it was manifested to get me to the next level, to get me beyond body and beyond ego. Who am I when I'm no longer strong? I put a whole lot of pride and self-worth and ego, not in a prideful way all the time when I say ego, but I put a whole lot into that. Who am I without that? There lies my true self. There lies true power. Go figure. So, and now I'm learning that. So my friends, if you're going through something, just know that there is a lesson and even a gift in whatever you're going through. Learn the lesson. That's my advice to you. After coaching men, especially for almost 2 decades, after sitting in 300 Zoom calls to lean in and level up and do the inner work with other men, learn the lesson so that you don't get it handed to you again. Sometimes in a different package, but sometimes almost identical. That which seems to be in the way, it is the way. Let's learn that lesson. Let's learn the teaching. Life is not guaranteed to get easier if we live long enough. In fact, it's guaranteed to get harder. Ask your mom, ask your dad, ask your grandparents if they're still around. Is it easier or harder? Usually they'll say it's harder because the body is falling apart. Oftentimes there's physical, emotional, there's pain in there. So we're going to go through hard times. We're going to develop the grit. We're going to develop the resilience. But somewhere along the journey, the grind for the sake of the grind at the expense of relationships and slowing down and smelling the roses and petting a dog and loving others well or being curious or wondering or being in awe, at some point it no longer serves us. There is a better state of being. It's a level 3 man or woman. It's a man or woman coming from high consciousness, peace, love, acceptance, joy. I believe we can do from a place of being. We can do, we can build, we can teach, create, coach, care, problem solve. I believe we can do all of that being pleasant, being loving, being helpful. We can do all of that from a place of lower consciousness and lower energy. We can do it irritated, agitated, aggravated. That was me for almost 4 decades, I'm embarrassed to say. But now the new me, the 202, entering the 303, I just know that there's a better way. I'm actually doing more, accomplishing more, but the quality is infinitely better. So those are my thoughts on the whole concept of grind and grit and resilience. I think we need to allow our kids to struggle a little bit, calculated, risk controlled. Let them work through some stuff. Let them flex those muscles. Let them problem solve. Let them mow the yard or wash their own car, fill their own tanks, work out their problems, talk to their boss. It's not mama's job to talk to their boss. Let them learn it now. That way, when they're a little bit older, they're ready and they're prepared. I hope you like this content. If you do, please give it a thumbs up, hit that bell and subscribe. I'll keep the content coming. I have huge gratitude. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your listening. This is not always easy, putting this content out there, putting myself out there, but I appreciate you. Thank you.